In his classic book, Playing God in Yellowstone, Alston Chase spends an entire chapter on Grant Village. It was dubbed The Mistake by the Lake. The purpose of this video is to complement Chase's discussion of Grant Village with some visuals. I visited Grant Village in August 2019 with the intent to see for myself the facility lambasted by Chase. In 1936, Grant Village was proposed as a replacement for a small facility at West Thumb. Chase notes that at least 7 times the project should have died, but it didn't. With the help of Mission 66, special interest groups, a change in tourism, and different federal administrations, Grant Village was eventually constructed. Several reasons that Grant Village became the mistake by the lake include: as reflected in the Ork Report of 1964, an affluent post-World War II public in the 1950s was mobile, and the demand for outdoor recreation was growing. For Yellowstone and the other western parks, the era of railroad access was waning, and the advent of the automobile and the car camper. Chase refers to this process as the democratization of the parks. It was a change in the tourism model. What was once only for the rich now became available to the middle class, which was becoming more affluent and had more disposable income. The interstate highway system was begun in 1955 and provided easier access to the western parks. Chevrolet advertised, "See the USA in your Chevrolet," and that's exactly what Americans did. The democratization process is generic in the business and the leisure fields. Democratized examples include ballpoint pens, automobiles, commercial air flights, personal computers, and cell phones. Initially, they were expensive novelty items afforded by the rich that became inexpensive and accessible to the general public. In a 1917 memorandum to R.B. Marshall, Stephen Mather, the first director of the National Park Service, differentiated between national monuments and national parks. In doing so, it was clear that the national parks were similar to modern resorts with roads, trails, and conveniences. Emphasizing outdoor recreation activities, they were for the enjoyment of people. Subsequently, and as part of the environmental movement, the National Park Service was attempting to move past the resort model and toward parks as nature preserves with fewer people. This philosophy is reflected in the title of the book, Islands of Hope, where the national parks were to become these pristine nature preserves. Consistent with the resort concept, the marina was to be the main attraction at Grant Village. Without the marina, it can be said that Grant Village became infrastructure without an attraction. Normally, there is an attraction like Old Faithful or Hot Springs that is the reason for visitors visiting the site. It justifies providing the infrastructure to support the attraction. Without the marina, the recreational opportunities offered at Grant Village are limited. Today, all that remains of the marina is a small dock area used primarily by the Park Service and a launching ramp used by day users. The remnants of the planned marina are evident with the breakwaters, entrance, and pilings. Chase notes that the planned marina was abandoned because of siltation. Storms come across the Yellowstone Lake from the north. These storms push silt into the marina, which would need to be dredged on a regular basis. Exposed, the marina is not located in a sheltered cove, and eventually the idea of the marina was abandoned. Part of the infrastructure supporting the marina, it is easy to see how the lake house would have serviced the marina. It is a semi-cafeteria approach, and its menu is not all that much different from Grant Village restaurant. There is a small parking lot with most people hiking to the restaurant. There were no complaints on my part. Both the service and food were good. Today, the restaurant exemplifies the problem of creating infrastructure without having an attraction. Most hotels have a centralized layout. People enter the lobby where there is a main desk. Connected to the centralized lobby are restaurants, other services, and of course the hotel rooms. Grant Village is decentralized where the restaurant and hotel rooms require leaving the building and hiking to where you want to go. The registration building is separate from the rooms and restaurants. It is easily overlooked. I drove past it once before realizing the setup. Chase was not very complimentary regarding the architectural uniqueness of the lodging. The lodges are, quote, a complex of square, prefabricated, plywood, multi-story motel units standing by themselves in a raw clearing, unquote. He has a point, although I didn't think that the design of the lodges was that offensive. I stayed at Deer Lodge. By today's standards, the hotel accommodations are Spartan. You don't get a lot for $300 an evening. The Wi-Fi was extremely slow, and I finally gave up trying to use it. There was no television, no refrigerator, no microwave, and the shower was small. But then, you are expected to go outdoors and not expected to be sequestered in the hotel room. In contrast, Old Faithful Lodge and Canyon Valley Lodge offer a more traditional experience with centralized hotel facilities. And with Old Faithful Lodge, there is an attraction which justifies the lodge being located next to a geyser. The visitor center is hidden at the back of Grant Village. I found it only because I was looking for it. A large parking lot was empty. Normally, the visitor center is located at the entrance, where it can easily greet incoming visitors. The mini store is located at this site, and the visitor center could easily be located across the street from it. Grant Village was located more than an hour from the entrance. Basic services need to be provided to its visitors. There is a general store, a post office, a laundromat, and shower facilities. This is consistent with providing basic service to the visitors. The second on-site restaurant is Grant Village Restaurant, a sit-down restaurant with a small bar area. I had an interesting conversation with the bartender regarding Grant Village and its flaws. The flaws are well known by the locals. In fact, he referred to Grant Village as the mistake by the lake. I borrowed his catchy phrase for the subtitle of this video. From a design standpoint, there's little question that Grant Village is the mistake by the lake. Chase's points are well taken. The flaws of Grant Village are well known among the locals and employees. Even without the marina, the restaurants were full and visitors seemed to be pleased. Perhaps they were oblivious to Grant Village's flaws. For me, it was interesting to juxtapose my actual experience with Chase's dire description of the facility. The flaws are obvious. However, once built, Grant's Village still provides viable recreational opportunities for its visitors. It is all part of designing the experience.